ਪਰ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਮੀਨ ਟਾਈਮ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ ਅਮੈਂਡਾ ਟੌਡ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ 12 ਵਰ੍ਹੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਬੱਚੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਸਤਾਈ ਹੋਈ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਵਿਥਿਆ ਬਿਆਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਉਹਦੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਬਲੈਕਮੇਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਦੂਰ ਦਰਾਡੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਅਖੀਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਤੱਕ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਜੀ ਕੈਰਲ ਟੌਡ ਹੋਣਾ ਨੇ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਇਸ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਦੇ ਤੁਰ ਜਾਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮਸ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਤੰਨ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਕੈਰਲ ਟੌਡ ਹੋਣਾ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਲਾਅ ਸੂਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹੋਈ ਔਰ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਇਵੈਂਚੁਅਲੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਵਾਟਸ ਦ ਪਰਪਸ ਐਂਡ ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਇਟ ਸਟਾਰਟ Carol Todd is with me. Hello Carol, ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Carol, I think everybody, all of my listeners know the tragic end of your daughter Amanda. Mm-hmm. And you fought really well actually to save other kids. You have educated parents and you have inspired them to come forward and do something worthwhile. And you have made the governments answerable at the different levels. Now this lawsuit, how did it start?
Oh, this takes it to a different level. I was about a month ago in September. I was in Toronto for a conference, and I met a lawyer who worked for the Social Media Victims Law Center based out of Seattle, and we got to talking about the problems that kids and parents are facing using social media, their mental health, the suicide, the breakdown of what kids were seeing and doing. And then she proposed the idea of a lawsuit, right? And she knew of other parents in the United States who had gone through a similar story to what Amanda did. And then so she asked if I was interested in joining the lawsuit, and so myself and another Canadian parent agreed that this would be a good idea, and that's how it came to be.
How many parents are with you on this lawsuit, and what's the base? What's the accusation against these companies, big companies, Meta, and there's so many others?
Right. There's 11 families, 2 are Canadian, and the lawsuits against Meta and Google, and I believe there's another one in there. And it's based on duty of care and duty of responsibility, and what the platforms have been doing to children. And so, with Amanda, she was on the platform and she got addicted to it, plus her predator found her on the platform, and this is still happening after 15 years, right? And so what are the platforms doing in order to, in prevention, to make the online world safer after 15 years? And so it's making them accountable and making them responsible for keeping kids safe online, right? And so this is probably one of many lawsuits that's happening against the big tech companies, but they need to be held accountable to what they've created.
I think their business model is to have more and more engagement with the youngsters, and this is how they survive and thrive. But where do they go wrong?
Well, they're driven by the business model in advertising, so they get lots of money through advertising dollars. And what's happened, I'll give you an example, is that there might be a young person and they're interested in keeping fit. So they look up fitness videos on Instagram. Well, soon the Instagram feed is, the algorithm has led them to diets, right? Keeping fit and trim using diets, and then showing them bodies of people who are slim and trim, but forget the diet. Now you're getting into starving yourself or not eating properly or having one booster drink or something. And so it is leading down the path of eating disorders and morphing the idea of what a fit body looks like to a young person. And the brain of a young person is really, it can be altered, right, into thinking different things. And so, with eating disorders comes mental health, comes health, like a health situation. And so that's how something safe can lead down the rabbit hole of something unsafe. And so there's lots of different examples, and our kids aren't, their brains aren't developed to understand or solve the problem or know what's going on. And so that's why we have so many kids that are susceptible to believing what they see online through social media and endless scrolling and through the night. And so it's just one more video, and our kids are going through this. And we have to make sure that there are limitations and regulations, and we try as parents in order to teach our kids, but there needs to be something more done with the social media companies that create these.
And I guess in response to this lawsuit, Google, their spokesperson is saying that all our policies are designed in conjunction with the experts who provide age-appropriate experiences and parental controls and everything. Do you find this one, this claim of theirs is untrue?
Well, they have put, Google and even Meta, they have put tools in for protection, for parental controls or controls in general, but there's not enough controls. So they believe they're doing the right thing, but there's not enough, if that makes sense, right? They really need to see what kids are doing. And if all the controls were accurate and adequate, there wouldn't be so many kids falling down the trap of mental health and emotional dysregulation and unwellness because of online use and screen time. So if the controls they had were working, we wouldn't be seeing what the kids are facing right now. So no, their controls aren't working 100%.
Of course, this lawsuit is directed towards those companies, but there's so many other aspects, law and order aspect as well, because online, activity can bring in somebody into real, bad situations, and blackmailers are there, the prowlers for the youngsters. But this is very addictive. We know that. So let's conclude this, and what's your advice to the parents? You've been fighting right after your daughter's death, and your, prime aim is to educate and to tell parents that their kids should be safe.
Well, parents need to also educate themselves on what's going on online, what there is online, what kids are basically doing, and to have conversations with them so that, sharing with kids the red flags of bullying or cyberbullying, and if someone online is asking you for pictures of yourself that you wouldn't necessarily be sharing online, or asking you for your address or phone number or where you live and they want to meet you, those are red flags of things that aren't right. And so that conversation between the parent caregiver and the child, the children would know that if something or someone is asking or telling them to do something, to go talk to your adult and then get the help that's needed, or call the police or something. So there's got to be those preventions that come within the family and within the community, in addition to what we're trying to get the tech companies to provide at their end. So there's a lot of different measures to take into account, but until the tech companies listen, we need to do it as parents and put those preventions in place. And in schools, we're teaching the kids. It just needs to be an all-around thing that we need to ensure, right?
Great. Thank you very much for your time, Carol.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Carol Todd ਹੋਣੀ ਅਮੈਂਡਾ ਟੌਡ ਦੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ 11 ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਨੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਟਾ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੈ, ਗੂਗਲ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੈ, ਸਨੈਪਚੈਟ ਵਗੈਰਾ, ਹੋਰ ਕੁਝ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਹਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਾਅ ਸੂਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦਰਜ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ, ਔਰ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਦਾਅਵਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਅਜੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਗੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਰਜੀਹ ਦਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਉਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਾਇਰਟਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲਾਂ, ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਖਤਰਿਆਂ, ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹ ਉਨੀਆਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਯੰਗਸਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਨ ਟੂ ਇੰਜਰੀ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਸੇ ਲਿਹਾਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਵਾਰਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ, ਚੇਤਾਵਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੀਆਂ। ਕੁਝ ਇਸ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਸ ਲਾਸੂਟ ਦੀ।